Mathe Set 1 that was given out on 21st July, question 3. Now there's a typo here, I forgot to inform you all. This is actually 20%, so I guess most of you will go high now. Okay, my mistake, 20%. Okay, so let's try this out. 65% of the animals on the farm are cows, so cows is 65%. And the rest are goats, so it's either cows or goats, nothing else. So it must be 35%. Okay, when 240 more cows and goats were added on the farm, the percentage of cows increased by 20% and the number of goats doubled. How many goats were there on the farm at first? So I know these 240 are the add-on, the extras. How many is the extras? It's 20% times 65% is equals to actually 13%. Now I know the goats double. So when the goats double, it increased by 35% because it doubled. So total percentage is 13% plus 35% equals to 48%. Okay, now pause for a while, think about this. What should be our next step? We know it's 48% for the increase, and how much is the increase? We know the increase is 240. So next step will be to put this down. 48% is actually 240. Okay, once again, like I said in the earlier question, because we have a calculator, we can find 1% easily. 240 divided by 48, we'll get 5. Okay, now they asked how many goats were there on the farm at first. How many goats were there on the farm at first? This is quite a simple question. 35%. 5 times 35. Using your calculator, you will find 175. There were 175 goats. Full stop. That's it. Question 3 done. Next, question 4. Now, from my experience, this type of question is something that is quite common in PSLE, and a lot of you get it wrong. You have to understand certain things. First, when two people move together, their speed can be added up because it's a combined speed, it's a combined distance they travel per hour. The same as this case. Okay, let's go through it. The distance between point A and point Z is 12 km. So the distance is 12 km. So I'll draw my distance timeline. Point A to Z is 12 km. At 7:32 a.m., Eric cycled from point A towards Z at 8 km per hour. So this is my first speed. Always differentiate clearly what is speed and what is distance. Okay, because it matters a lot. Okay, next, at the same time, Joshua left point Z and traveled towards A at 12 km per hour. So this is Joshua, he's traveled at 12 km per hour. Now, this is similar to what I mentioned earlier about two different speed, but they are traveling together. They are not traveling on the same way, they are traveling towards each other. So what happened is we add up the speed. Okay, why do we add up the speed? Because this is the combined distance they travel in an hour. So let's take this case, Eric and Joshua. If you put them in this case, every hour Joshua will travel 12 km, every hour Eric will travel 8 km. So every hour together, how far will they travel? They will travel 20 km. Okay, because it's simply 8 km per hour plus 12 km per hour, you get 20 km per hour. Okay, so this is their combined speed. So from there, I can actually find how long they take to meet, because their combined speed, all they have to do is travel 12 km. Once they finish traveling 12 km, they'll meet. Okay, so in this case, 12 km divided by 20 km per hour. Because this is an hour, I mentioned this many times. Okay, leave it in fraction. Okay, now you must be wondering, I have the time already, how do I find A? Okay, A is simple. how far each of them travel. So 3/5 hour times 8 km per hour, I'll get 24 over 5 km, which is 4 and 4/5 km. Okay, this is for Eric. Okay, next, 3/5 of an hour times 12 km per hour equals to 36 over 5 km, which is equals to 7 and 1/5 kilometers, and this belongs to Joshua. And I'm done with A. Okay, now B is the tricky one. I've mentioned this many times. Never ever add up the time. You have to draw a timeline. So in this case, they start off at 7:32 a.m. They took 36 minutes. Okay, now 36 minutes is rather awkward, so let's just put 30 minutes first, then followed by 6 minutes. Okay, I break it up into two so that it's easier for me. In this case, I just add on 30 minutes. It becomes 8:02 a.m. Then add another 6 minutes here, 8:08 a.m. They met at 8:08 a.m. Done.